Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. My name is Christian. If it's your first time seeing me, go ahead and like this video because I know you're gonna like it already. Subscribe and turn on those post notifications so you never miss another upload. And if you already are subscribed, hey babies, welcome back. So today guys, we are gonna be talking all about redefining your independence, rediscovering your independence when you are newly single. So let's just go ahead and get right into it. I feel like this has definitely been something that I've had quite a few people ask me about. I already have a video about dealing with heartbreak and, healing heartbreak. But in this video, we're literally going to be talking about kind of finding your way back to yourself. And we're also going to be talking about friendship breakups as well, because that's kind of a time when we have to get used to being on our own as well. If we're used to having a bunch of friends, we end up losing a lot of people. So let's go ahead and get right into the video. So first things first, guys, I always think it's good to start with kind of making peace with the relationship and the fact that the relationship ended as we're working to step into some independence after a breakup or a friendship breakup. Just because the time that we spend by ourselves, of course, we're going to spend time reflecting on the relationship. And it always will be better if we're reflecting on it from a place of, feeling good about it, feeling like we've done the things that we needed to do, instead of reflecting with, an energy of regret or, having a lot of doubt about our decisions. So after you come to the end of a relationship, or after you just realize that, a relationship isn't going to be serving you anymore, start thinking about how you feel about that. Do you feel like you could have done more in the relationship? Do you need to forgive yourself for any of those things? Because if we do that in the beginning, it'll make it a lot easier for us to pour into ourselves and give ourselves self-love along the way. But when we come out of relationships and we're dealing with guilt, we have all of this heavy energy, we're holding on to all of these things that we wish we could have said and we wish we would have did. It's like, if we're holding on to all of that, how can we expect to move forward with light, beautiful, freeing energy? We'll still be held down by those energies, you know what I'm saying? So we want to make sure if we have to step out of a relationship or, a friendship, that we're doing it in a way we're on the other side, we're nurturing ourselves and we're being kind to ourselves, and also that we're allowing ourselves to think about the things that we need. Like, I never think that it's good to get single or step out of a friendship and instantly try to connect with new people and get new people around you. And as far as like dating and new friendships and stuff like that, because we kind of have a lot of talking to do, a lot of thinking to do, a lot of reflecting to do before we step into those new, situations. And a lot of times out of our grief and out of our emotional responses, we'll end up with the same type of friends, or we'll end up in the same type of relationship that we just left because we're just resting and trying to get into it. A lot of times when relationships fail, it's messages there for us. So first thing you want to do is take advantage of the messages that are there for you in that space and make sure you're learning all that you can, tapping into any energies that you need to tap into. So as you journey into your self-love space, we're not holding on to that heavy energy, and we're able to trust, like, okay, I did all I could do in this space. Now I'm able to, pour into me and cater to me. But when we're holding that grief of, I should have done more, or this ended because of me, we're not really able to pour into ourselves as we need to. So definitely take the time necessary to deal with the relationship and close that chapter out. Also, I feel like it can be a little bit difficult for us to get back to ourselves because we'll be on standby waiting to see if somebody's going to spin the block, or waiting to see if somebody's going to come back around. You know what I'm saying? We don't need any of that. We really want to make peace with the fact that the connection is done before we move forward and step into some new spaces. So as we are moving forward, literally the key is self-love and also, reinvention. Who are you now? Who are you after you've been in this 2-year relationship? You know what I'm saying? Do you trust differently? Do you have, different ways to communicate? Do you have different ways to express yourself? Do you feel differently about intimacy? You know what I'm saying? Like, have you healed any shadow work? Are you aware of new shadow elements now? Like, we are never going to be the person that we used to be after relationships. I feel like a lot of times we get out of relationships and we try to go back to the old version of us before the trauma or before the pain or before the heartbreak. But that version of you only exists when you are in that space, so we cannot ever go back to the old version of us. So it's all about reinvention. Who do you want to be today? How do you want to take care of yourself today? How do you want to pour into yourself today? So think about the type of person that you want to be. And once you have that down and you know the type of energy that you want to step into, you can start making that happen little by little. You can start setting goals and making sure that you have an action plan behind those goals to see yourself step into that space. But you want to remember that you are enough. That you are enough. And I always say that we always have ourselves and we always have God. If we don't got nobody, we have ourselves and we have God. And that is enough, truly, in all spaces. So you want to start to, affirm to yourself that you are enough. You don't want to feel like you have to jump from one relationship into something with somebody else because you can't be settled in your own space. You also really want to take it a day at a time. It's never an easy journey as we're moving forward and releasing friendships or releasing relationships. It's always stressful. It's always heavy because these are people that we've loved. These are people that we really, really, really want to be with. So it's always going to be a difficult time. So make sure that you're honoring yourself and catering to yourself and taking your time in these spaces and just allowing yourself to feel the things that you need to. But being independent is such a beautiful thing because you can really decide who you want to be. You can decide who you want to be, free of judgment, free of opinion, free of perspective from anyone else. It's about you being the best version of you to suit you. So think about what you want in life. Think about the things that you're stepping into. Think about your goals. A lot of times we put the things that we want to do on hold because we're with somebody else, or our friends don't support us, or we're in a space where we feel like we're not, people don't believe in us. So whenever we step out of those spaces, that really should be one of the first things that we do as well. Try to reestablish our confidence. Take some time to remember the things that we've accomplished. Take some time to remember the goals that we've had, to remember the things that we've done, and just kind of reinforce to ourselves like, hey, I am powerful. I can make it happen. I am disciplined. If I can see it, honey, I can bring it into my life. You know what I'm saying? I am a manifester. Like, we want to start to remind ourselves that we are powerful. A lot of times in spaces that we have to let go of, they take so much of our power away. We feel like we don't have a voice when we're with them. We feel like we can't really say how we really feel when we're with them. We feel like we won't be heard. We won't be validated when we're in those spaces. We might get gaslit every time we open our mouths. So it's really going to be critical that we work to find our voice again. So finding your voice again is going to be something else that you want to work on. And that comes from using your voice, expressing yourself to others and expressing you to you, making a video talking about how you're feeling, just like I'm doing now. Literally set your phone up and talk about the things that you're going through. Like, give yourself a voice, validate your voice, talk about your feelings, talk about the things that you've experienced, and find that. So when you step into new spaces, you have a new voice now. You know what I'm saying? You're able to step into spaces with a different presence. You're able to, assert yourself in a way where we can learn things from the things that we experienced in the past. You know what I'm saying? We want to make sure that the things that we've done in one relationship, we don't bring those things into another relationship. And the time that we have while we are single is really a time for us to, tap into ourselves and learn to love ourselves more, learn to listen to ourselves a lot better. So when we step into these spaces, we have, a better sense of our voice and a better sense of the things that we need. Also, we don't want to feel a rush to make connections right away. Like, a lot of times we cut off friends and then it's kind of like, okay, who am I going to meet next? Who am I going to connect with next? We get out of a breakup and it's like, okay, who am I going to be with next? Don't worry about rushing into a new space. Even if you have people around you that feel like it's time for you to get back out there, it's time for you to connect with new people, you want to make sure that you do things, on your own terms. Like, everybody doesn't get out of a relationship and be ready for another one. You know what I'm saying? So don't feel like you should only be, thinking about something for 3 months, or you should only be still processing something for a year or for 6 months. You don't know how long the relationships you're in are going to affect you. You really have no idea how long they're going to affect you. So you really, really, really want to be patient with yourself. So a lot of self-love, be patient with yourself, reestablish your confidence, and reestablish the goals that you want to meet, and reestablish yourself as your priority. You know what I'm saying? Find out the things that you want to do. After that relationship, after stepping out of that space, when was the last time you spent mindful time by yourself? A lot of times in relationships, we spend so much time with the other person. And when we're not with the other person, we're texting them, we're talking to them on the phone, we're thinking about them. So having that time by yourself is a really good time to think about, hey, when was the last time I saw a movie that I wanted to see? When was the last time I cooked something because it was what I wanted to eat? When was the last time that I did this? When was the last time that I did that? When was the last time that I put myself out there and just nurtured myself in a way that allowed me to elevate, allowed me to expand, allowed me to really boss up? You know what I'm saying? So we want to make sure that we just really, really reconnect with ourselves. And again, it's about reinvention. So you don't want to worry about getting back to the old version of you, but how can you reconnect to your core values? A lot of times we forget certain boundaries, we forget certain values, we forget certain things that we need because of people in our lives. So it's time for us to get back on track, and it's time for us to get back into a space where we are here with ourselves. You know what I'm saying? I also think it will be a good time to work on your intuition, work on tapping into your higher consciousness, work on your grounding, work on your connection to God, work on your connection to the universe. The best thing you really can have in this life is time by yourself. You are on this journey by yourself. You are a spiritual being having a physical experience, and you have a duty to your spirit body to do the work that you're supposed to do in this life. And a lot of times we can spend so long not even checking in with ourselves, which is why during the pandemic, everybody was at home by themselves and they literally could not handle it. Like, a lot of people cannot handle being by themselves because they don't know themselves. They don't even know how to begin to nurture themselves or have a relationship with themselves. So it's always good to start getting back to that. Take yourself to the mall, take yourself out, find the things that give you, interest, find the things that pique your interest, find the things that intrigue you, now that you are in this new space. I always think releasing rituals are also great as we're stepping into some newfound independence, just writing about the things that we've experienced, allowing ourselves to release these things, you know what I'm saying? Allowing ourselves to just Be done with these things. And to not hold on to these things anymore. You know what I'm saying? It's also about us freeing ourselves. So in a space of, solitude, when we're talking about the tarot, for example, we have the Hermit card, which is all about reflection. It's about having that time to yourself being so precious. Like, that's the most precious time you'll have. Like, you, with you, talking to you, nurturing you, pouring into you, loving you, exploring yourself in all senses is really such a valuable time, because you come out better than ever. You know what I'm saying? So definitely make the most of the time that you have by yourself, and make sure that you're not just letting the time pass you by. Like, discover new things about yourself, date yourself, love yourself, learn new things about who you are and the things that you want in life. You know what I'm saying? Really take time to pull what you can from the relationships that you've been in the past, and allow that to serve as things that you can do as you boss up. Also, when you're stepping into your independence, think about the type of person that you're going to be in relationships moving forward. You know what I'm saying? Think about how you'll set better boundaries. Think about how you can communicate your needs better. Think about how you can, release steam better. Like, take the time to really make sure that you have a solid connection to yourself, because it's so easy for us to lose ourselves in relationships. And a lot of times we do that, and then we have to find this journey, back to ourselves. We have to start finding our way back to who we really are and the things that we need and the things that we want. So you definitely want to make sure, that you're really taking the time to listen to yourself, and you're really taking the time to build that solid foundation, because breakups are a part of life, until you meet your life partner. And even then, it might not work out with them. So breakups are a part of life. And even if we're not talking about romantic breakups, friendship breakups are a part of life. Losing things in our life that we're very, very connected to is a part of life. We're always going to be losing people and having to let people go and having to move away from certain situations. So the more we're able to sit in our independence and understand how to navigate those situations, the easier that it will get for us as we continue to move forward. I've been in plenty of breakups, plenty of friendship breakups, relationship breakups, any kind of breakups, girl. I've experienced hella breakups. And for me, each time I was able to, learn something a little bit more. And now I'm really, really able to look back in hindsight on the situations in my past and realize, like, dang, if I took more time after this breakup, I wouldn't have ended up in the next relationship. Like, I would have saved myself a relationship that was exactly like what I, stepped into beforehand. Or if I would have taken some more time to really think about these red flags, I wouldn't have missed them the second time around. Or if I would have taken a little bit more time to just really be confident and really be solid in the things that I needed, I wouldn't have allowed somebody to play me like they knew what I needed for me, because I didn't know the things that I needed. You know what I'm saying? Like, when you don't know yourself, it's very easy for people to make you believe anything about yourself. It's easy for somebody to make you feel like you're stupid. It's easy for somebody to make you feel inadequate, to make you feel like you're too sensitive, or like you do too much, or like you're dramatic, or, like you just aren't who you know yourself to be. But the more distant we are with ourselves, the harder it is for us to kind of remind ourselves of that. And sometimes it takes us being in a very, very toxic, very, very dark space for us to remember, like, oh wait, I don't deserve this. I am this. I am royalty. I am divine. I am gifted. I am worthy. I am blessed. Like, there is no reason I'm supposed to be living like this. There is no reason I'm supposed to be feeling like this. And sometimes we realize that in the relationship, and sometimes we realize that on our own. When we look at ourselves and we're like, I should not be treating myself like this. Like, I have to be doing better. So if you are in a space where you feel like you've been single for a while, or you've been on your own for a while, and it just hasn't really been productive, figure out who you want to be. Figure out who you want to be. Who do you want to be? As simple as that. Who do you want to be? What do you want to do in this life? Who do you want to help? Who do you want to uplift? Like, who do you feel your audience is? Regardless of what you want to do, who do you feel like you're here to serve? Are you supposed to be a friend? Are you supposed to be a mother? Are you supposed to be a teacher? Are you supposed to be a healer? Are you supposed to, what are you supposed to do in this life? What do you feel the most whole doing? And how can you learn more about yourself? How can you uplift yourself more? How can you cater more to yourself? Literally, it's dating yourself. It is dating yourself. Like, that's what successful independence looks like. You giving yourself the things that you need, you tapping into yourself constantly, consistently, and making sure that you have what you need, regardless of what everybody thinks, regardless of what everybody says. You are putting yourself on a pedestal, and you are catering to you, and you're making sure that you are being served. So being independent and being on your own is really a beautiful space to be in. And we are always going to find ourselves on our own again in life. Even if you get married, even if you have children, you'll always find yourself at the end of the day sitting with yourself and having to talk to yourself and explain to yourself and get yourself out of some things, because we will always have ourselves in God. So no matter what happens, what do people resort to? God. And you might not even count yourself, but you always have yourself there. If you living and breathing, you got you. And even if you don't, you have you, so we are constantly in these spaces where we are alone and we really do not know how to function. It's kind of like we're lost in these spaces, but we are so worthy. We are so valuable. We are so strong. We are so gifted. We always have ourselves, and we are so, so, so valuable. And we really are, our bestest friend and our most trusted ally, and independence is really a walk and a journey that will show you that and allow you to see how you have carried yourself through all of these situations. You have carried yourself through all of these L's, but here you are, ready to turn up for yourself every single day and make it happen. So yes, the journey of independence is a beautiful one, a confident one, and also a journey of a lot of reflection. Okay, so be prepared to find out everything you need to know about yourself, but it's only going to make you stronger, and it's only going to, just really allow you to see your strengths and how far you've come. And I feel like that makes everything so much easier, in life. Just being able to look at yourself and see a strong person, see someone who always has their own back, see someone who knows that ain't nobody gonna mess with them. There's a lot of power in that, and knowing who you are and knowing that if anything, you got you and you know what you need. So yes, guys, that is a little spiel about stepping back into your independence after you leave relationships or friendships. So yes, I hope you guys enjoyed this video and that it gave you what you needed. Of course, as always, I love y'all so, so, so much again, as always. So yes, I hope everybody has a great day, and I will see you guys later. Bye guys. Bless.